Pasteurized milk, where did that come from? Well, for the longest time, we didn't drink milk. We made cheese out of it, we made yogurt out of it, but we didn't actually drink it. And it wasn't until the 18th century, early 19th century that we actually started drinking milk, and it didn't go down too well because as people moved away from breastfeeding and more towards artificial feeding, as they called it, the kids were dying. I mean, in the 1840s, half of the newborns were dying because, half the newborns in New York were dying because they were being artificially fed with cow's milk. So along came a French scientist called Louis Pasteur, right, who found these little organisms that could only be seen under a microscope and figured, that is the problem. And if we heat the hell out of milk and pasteurize it, we can make it safe. Hence the word pasteurization. Although, he takes the credit, but they had actually been doing it in Asia long before. So then we get pasteurized milk. And we can have the debate about raw versus pasteurized, and there's different forms of pasteurized, which I'll get onto in a separate video, and how bad that UHT milk is for us. But what about, we're looking for raw or non-GMO or organic or grass-fed cows and all that. But if you want to ask any dairy farmer, they're going to say milk is very much underpriced and it's hard to make money, So, I mean, if you want to grass feed a cow, put it in a pasture, that is actually the easiest way to feed a cow. You just put it in a pasture, right? But those the dairy cattle that are left to roam the pastures and are grass fed, they produce less milk. And if milk's already underpriced, according to the farmers, it makes it difficult for them to make money, right? And then you get that non-GMO or that organic, qualification that we love to see on the labels, but that ain't cheap. That's not cheap. So you find then, ironically, it's the large dairy farmers that actually can afford to, get that certification. So the dairy farmers have a pretty tough time. So yes, so we've got pasteurized milk, and there's different forms of pasteurized milk. Because of course, us being us, we had to find a faster way of doing it, a cheaper way of doing it, and there are consequences to that. But I will save that for another video.